The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on October 28, 2025.
Welcome to Business Matters, brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. Now here's your host, the president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, Pam Tumpop. Good morning, Pam.
Hey, good morning, Gary. Aloha. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. It's a nice, beautiful morning. The sun's shining right in my face right now through the windows.
I hear you. It is a glorious morning up here in Kukulani as well. Thank you for all of your hard work and dedication to our show. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you. You do a great job, too.
Oh, thank you. Well, we want to welcome everybody to the show today. I have two amazing guests. First, we're going to speak with Councilmember Yuki Sugimura. And we're going to spend some time this morning discussing our shared friend, and hopefully a shared friend for all of you, because she was such a wonderful woman, and that is Councilmember Tasha Kama, who just passed on Sunday. And we're going to also talk a little bit about the Made in Maui County Festival and the importance of our local manufacturers and small businesses, particularly during this time right now. It's a challenging time for many small businesses, and I want to share the importance and the tremendous work they do to make our community the community it is. And then we're going to follow that up, speaking with one of our festival vendors. It'll be Justin Orr of High Spice, and we'll talk more about High Spice if you're not familiar. And if you are, your mouth is probably salivating already, thinking about their amazing spices to spice up your life. But first, I'm thrilled to have Councilmember Yuki Sugimura. She is the Vice Chair of the Maui County Council and Chair of the Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee. We've known each other for many years. If you're a longtime listener of the show, you know she comes on regularly to talk about updates, and we're thrilled to have her on today. Good morning, Yuki. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Pam. Thank you very much for having me. I always look forward to this and would love to talk about what's happening with the Made on Maui Festival, too, beside our good friend, Councilmember Tasha Kama.
Yeah, we there's so many things that we always talk about. And Yuki and I talked yesterday, and we just, we felt today was really a good day to honor Tasha for the amazing woman and mother and community advocate and strong leader that she was, because we're all mourning her loss.
Yes, she is. I always say she's my best friend at council. We sat next to each other. Our offices were next to each other for many years. And we would always carpool. So we had a lot of time to talk about the community and, different things that were of interest to us. And I want to share with you, I think, a story that kind of, to me, talks about her strength and character. We all know she loved the nonprofit world, and she loved small businesses. She loved Hawaiian homelands, right? All the things she did for the Native Hawaiian community. Yes. And, but that strength and character, Tasha decided after she had her 11 children that she wanted to get her degree, her college degree. And so she went to UH Maui College and she got her degree from the college. And I said, "You did what?" And she said, "Yeah, she was at that point, because she had 11 children. They were the older ones who were also at the college that, they were in school together." I thought, what? Is that cool or what, But it's something that she wanted to do, and she did. And that's just the kind of amazing stories about Tasha, that I learned about her with all the years that we spent carpooling and going to different events together. If you know her, you know that when she walked in a room, you could feel her grace. You could feel her strength. And sometimes council meetings could get quite contentious from testifiers or from other council members. And they would say things that are, not necessarily nice. And she just sat there and she listened. And she looked at it, I guess, as their opinion and not necessarily who she was. So she never got, she never staggered. but she knew what she wanted to do. She had the strength, and she always knew that her God was taking good care of her. She always said that.
Yeah.
God knows.
That's true. Yeah. She said that many times, and many people don't realize she was also a pastor.
Yes, that's right. She was a pastor, and her father was an amazing person, right? Her father. I mean, their family. I think they had 16 children, and then Tasha had 11. But her father too was in the military, so Tasha got to travel. But through that, and their family got to travel through that, gain new experiences. But do you know they fed the homeless? And her father did that for many years and had all the children helping. So Tasha, she has it now where her children are helping and the grandchildren are helping. So this legacy continues. And one day she called me and she goes, "Let's go feed the homeless." I go, "Okay." So we went to that church in Wailuku, right by McDonald's. And she set up, and there was Lei, her daughter, cooking and making these big pots of everything, rice and, stew. And they were feeding homeless people who lined up out the door. So I think her family was doing it, I think, 3 or 4 times a year, as the church had, a cycle of people and families doing that. But she continues that legacy, something her dad taught her. And that's just the strength of her and her family. Yeah. Such an amazing person as she led with.
Yeah, she really was. And her heart for those who were houseless. She often said to me, everybody has a home somewhere. We grew up, we had a home, and now we have, people who are houseless. And she was very passionate about those who were houseless. And, I got to really know her, especially, over the years, we just became good friends. And she was always such an amazing woman. She talked about, raising her children and her many years raising her children. I did not know the story about her getting her college degree from UHMC, but we would talk about, because she was a young mom, I was a young mom, and she was just always so open about, I learned this along the way. I made this mistake, but this is what I learned from it, and how she always moves forward like we all do. Everybody makes mistakes, but she always took everything forward. And her, as you say, her heart and compassion for feeding people and for having people secure in homes. And whatever that home looked like, just getting people, out of difficult situations, to help them move into homes, to advocating for Hawaiian, her Hawaiian people, and and those in our community who, have been waiting a long time for housing, and always exploring different housing solutions. She just worked, we were looking at so many things during and after COVID, but through every avenue. She was always convening people to talk about housing and those who are houseless, and working on every angle in the gamut to make sure that we had broader solutions. And she used to call me on the weekends, because, so hard when you're a council member to talk during the week. And, she would just call me up, and we would just talk story on the weekends. And once we'd get started, we'd end up talking for hours about how to best serve the community. And I know you got to spend some time with her before she passed. And I just had a great opportunity. I was so blessed, because, there were so many family and friends who wanted to get to see her. So I was very blessed to get to see her before she passed and say goodbye as well. But she was always, championing things to the end. And I'm sure, as you saw, as I saw, in those final hours of her life, she was still working on housing solutions to the very end.
Yes, to the very end, And I really believe that for those that were, houseless, she felt for them and, wanted to find solutions as best as she could, but understood the challenges that maybe they didn't want to also, right? So what are the services that we needed to provide so that they would have whatever help they could receive. And, like feeding the homeless, helping with the Salvation Army. I mean, she was always there helping and wanting to ring the bell along with, her family playing guitar and having fun. I mean, she was always for the people. And I remember once we had a situation there, we got to help a homeless family, and Tasha personally took out money, from her family, I guess. She paid for a night at, a Happy Valley room so that the family would, have a roof over their heads. I just thought, God, that's so Tasha, She is there, ever present. Wanting to make a difference.
She was. Yeah. And people would, it was amazing to me. You talk about her calmness, and sometimes, people would get quite rude or say things that just, maybe in the heat of the moment, or maybe not, I'm not sure, but she never took it personally. She really never took it personally. Like you said, she felt that people, while she might have wished people not speak in ways that were disparaging or ugly to others, but she would want them to have the room to have their opinion shared. But she never took it personally, and it was always came back to getting the work done. I mean, I just keep hearing her in my head. She'd say things. It's not about me. It's about how do we move this forward? How do we get the work done? What can we do next? Okay, well, there's this obstacle and that obstacle. Okay, so what are the strategies for tackling these obstacles? How do we keep it moving forward? And and taking care of people like. Go ahead.
Yeah. So exactly what you're saying, Pam. I don't mean to interrupt, but she's, one of the things she did in her belief and her strength for the Native Hawaiian population, her people, and wanting to make sure that they were not forgotten, right? So the county is a member of the National Association of Counties, and that's about 3,500 counties nationwide. And there is a organization in NACO called the Native County Leaders and Allies, or NANCLA. It is an affinity group within NACO to help elevate Indigenous people. And in there, of course, were Native American, Indians and people from Alaska. And she got Hawaiians to be included in that too. And I thought, wow, she works quietly and effectively, and it was never a part of this group before until Tasha put it there and made it a reality. It's kind of amazing. So I joined that group when she became the leader of it, and I will continue working with NACO to help elevate the people of Indigenous community. So that's the kind of quiet work that she does, right? Just behind the scene. And
that is such a great example. That is such a great example. And for people who don't know, it's called NACO, which is NACO, which is the abbreviation. It's the National Association of Counties. So you've got people representing counties from all across the U.S. So to broaden their agenda, by the way, I've only been to one conference, which was amazing, and they do a lot of policy there, but to move and change policy at NACO is a big deal. It's a huge group. You need to win a lot of votes and influence a lot of people to make a shift like this. And it was one of those things that I'm really glad that you reminded us of that, because it was one of those things that, of course, to do that there, everybody within the NACO group understands what a tremendous effort this is to have something like that. And it didn't necessarily get a lot of fanfare here in our local community. And of course, Tasha was never about fanfare, right? She was really all about getting it done. She never tooted her own horn. She just kind of silently continued to serve. And that is a huge deal. That was a lot of effort, and I'm glad that you're still going to be serving on that committee in her stead, because it is such important work. Yeah, very. And, I just have to say, wow, Tasha.
talk about, making things happen, right? You can yell and scream at the federal government, but we're just, a couple of small voices, or, however many, in Hawaii, but we just need this maybe greater push. We found a greater push. She's totally amazing. Another big thing for us at the council, Pam, and we were getting questions already. We need to find her replacement, who will serve the remainder of her term. And so it looks like on November the 3rd, which is a Monday, our council will hold a special meeting to establish what the rules would be and the process will be to have the replacement happen. And so that will be 9:00 on November the 3rd. And then on November the 19th, which is a Wednesday, at 9:00, which is kind of interesting. That's when she would normally hold her Housing Land Use Committee. But during that time, then there'll be resolutions to find her replacement. And I will share that before she passed, she did find, or she did have someone that she wanted to replace her, and did make that call to Kaunoe Batangan, who lives in Kahului, which you must live in the area. And there's, the charter has rules on it, and he's grown up there. So born and raised in Kahului in her district, and he worked for Mayor Bisson and established in the Department of Transportation. In that, during the wildfire, he was the one who set up the soft services. I call it, the people who may need help in the wildfire impacted areas for social services. He set up the whole program for the mayor. And then with the Maui Metropolitan Planning Organization, which he is now the executive director and doing a great job, he set up, of course, he has this great relationship, which I think is really important with the departments, and to work together, because federal dollars comes to the Maui Metropolitan Planning Organization, and this organization then has to work closely with planning department, as well as the Public Works Department and the Transportation Department, because funding for the buses comes through that too. So there's a link that he can provide to continue the work and important work of Member Kama. So I thought he was a great choice, and she did ask him personally, and he agreed that he would put his name in and try to carry her name forward. And before she passed away, that decision was conveyed to her. So I'm glad that, she went and she left us, but she knew that her wishes were being fulfilled. So
and imagine, I mean, I was so blown away, given all that she was going through, because this all came about rather suddenly. It was unexpected and came about rather suddenly. And when she learned, of the challenges and health issues she was facing, she was still continuing to work. And again, housing is just in her heart. And so she was constantly thinking about, in her final time, who would be the best person to carry this work forward. And she was going through the whys and who she thought would actually, have the knowledge and the heart and compassion and ability to move it forward, and went out to want to make a recommendation she felt the community could support for good reasons, and know that this person would be willing to carry on to, achieve what we need to achieve. We are in a housing crisis, and we just have to move on with moving projects forward and getting more housing built. And she really knew him in a way, and that she wanted to reach out and see if he'd be willing to do it. And these are the things she was working on. Imagine, talk about service. In your final hours, when and God bless her, her family and everybody was supportive, also wanting to help her achieve this long-standing goal, even after her passing, to continue to pursue it with the vigor that she would have pursued it with, to be worried about who's going to carry this forward when I'm gone?
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
she was spending, with her family all around her and all the amazing love and support. And they were supporting her in helping to make this passion come true as well. It was an amazing thing to get to not only know about, but to actually experience it as it was happening while she was working to secure our community in her passing.
And her because she has such a large family. I said when you went to that ICU and the waiting room, because you only can have two people in the room at a time, right? It's so limited. But it was like this big gathering, and they're such wonderful family and just warm and filled with aloha. I have to say, I just love that family. I love her. We'll miss her. And I have to say, the family said, even police chief came to visit her. I thought, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Police chief.
No,
yeah.
They,
so nice of
they
him.
were surrounded by so many people. I mean, the family was there. They had food for everybody. They were playing music in the waiting room. The waiting room was, the waiting room for ICU is a waiting room that, there's other beds in that wing. And so it's a big waiting room for, many families, but it was her family. There were so many people.
Yeah.
Her family, her friends, other pastors were there to say goodbye. It was, just showed the breadth of the love and the community support that she had.
I'm sure the mayor went to visit her. I mean, just a lot of respect from so many people. So
yes,
yeah.
And he put out such an amazing message, and I just love seeing all the wonderful comments and the pictures that are coming forward now, and sharing. Just you can see just for people who don't know her the way we know her, to get to see her in action, to hear the stories. And I can't imagine how many amazing stories are going to continue to come forward, because everybody sort of knew. I mean, her relationship with every individual was also really personal. It was she'd openly share her whole life with people, but she also connected with people on shared experiences. And I just love that in everything that she did, it was always about uplifting people. And through when we talk about, things that we did, or things, maybe it was a mistake, or maybe it was just an experience that we learned from, she was always sharing, so that that was a way she lifted other people up, by helping share her knowledge and her experience to help them, look at other paths. And she was, one of the things I loved is she just was not quick to judge. I always thought, well, at first I thought, well, I think being a pastor, you learn a lot about that, and you're not quick to judge, and you're willing to hear other people. But beyond being a pastor, it's like she had this innate ability to just really let people open up with her, and to try and guide them, and not be overbearing in her advice, but to try and educate people. It was more about, well, let's look at this together. Let's look at these angles. Let's talk about how we can navigate through this, but also, here's my experience, or here's the things that I've learned. Where are you coming from in your position? And to really walk people through things was tremendous.
Yes. Yeah, she had a gift. Just a gift of heart and compassion. I just, amazing lady. I really, really gonna miss my best friend, but
I know. Well, it's still rough. I mean, as we talk about her now, of course, it's still rough. But all I keep thinking in my head is I know what she would say is, okay, well, let's keep going. What are we going to do next? Okay, we've had a great talk, and we've come up with these ideas. So now, how do we put them into action?
So there's some policy work that she was working on, and I hope to help her finish it. So in housing, of course, and with the Hawaiian community. So, yeah, she still has us working. Yeah, I'll give you a last story, then we can talk about the Maui Festival. At the hospital on Saturday morning, Pam, she called her family together. She called her family together and said Saturday at 9:00 she wanted to have a report from them on what's going on. So I happened to be sitting there, and she gathered, everybody can't go in in her room, but she had the key, sisters, her daughters. Yeah. And she read a report to her mom. I was like, wow. She's still calling. She's calling a meeting with her family and making sure everybody's okay. And I thought, oh, that's Tasha. That is Tasha. Yeah. Love her so much. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, and the love of them, Sunday night, the love of course, in the as it was getting towards her final time, everybody was allowed to come in the room. So that room was packed. That room was packed with all her family and friends. So she was surrounded by tremendous love that night. It again, teaching all of us who are still remaining, this is a beautiful way to go. Yeah. To be surrounded by everybody who loves you. Yeah. And we will continue and keep her legacy going. And I'm supporting Kaunoi Batangan to be her to fill the remaining time of her term as she had wanted. And I hope that our fellow council members will respect her too, her wishes. It'll be by majority vote, so we need 5 votes. And Chair Lee has us all marching in order. So I think we'll have to wait for, how we operate, Pam, because of sunshine, but posted agendas. Yeah. But it looks like November 3rd, a short meeting for, what the procedures will be. And then November 19th will be, we'll select who will fill that seat for the remainder of the term. So, well, I truly hope that people will look at the candidate she put forward, and I know that tremendous thought was put into it, and I know that it was all about carrying forward and getting housing for those who need it. And so I really hope that people will honor her wishes and come together on that. And I think she came up with an amazing candidate. And so, I know there's already some things. And sadly, the morning after she passed, there were some things getting said. Most of it was positive, but there was some jockeying for positioning already starting to happen. But I hope that we see in time that I hope we can honor her wishes, and I hope that everybody will come together. But again, all of this she did in her final hours, trying to find solutions. And keep, find solutions with somebody who would come up with and work on creative solutions, because this is a pretty arduous challenge ahead of us. And those of us who have been working in this for decades, like you and me and her, we know. Yes. Pam, so, before we talk about the Made in Maui, can you talk about the survey you're doing? I didn't have a chance to see it, but I wish that you will promote it about housing, since we're talking about housing. Yeah, let me talk for a few minutes about that. Thank you, Yuki. So one of the things, again, working on housing, there's so many issues surrounding housing right now. And we just felt, also listening to testimony, we've been dealing with different issues on housing, and whether it's housing that would be built by home builders, or whether it's STR issues and how those accommodations could be used for housing. And what we realized is, as we listened to testimony over and over again, we kept hearing several things. There have been comments from testifiers saying, don't tell us where we want to live, or don't tell us what kind of housing we want, or, that people are fighting for housing. And we had this question about, well, what can people afford, right? Where is our community at? We keep talking about area medium income levels, AMI is what it's known as. And so where are people living? What can they afford now?
What do they really need? And, so that we could inform both the state, the county, home builders, and those applying or interested in housing who were going through the survey to help educate them along the way. So we asked some questions as well, like, have you ever applied for to get pre-qualified for a loan, for a home loan? Have you ever gone to a first-time home ownership class to learn about how to prepare for home ownership and those kinds of things? So there's some questions in there. And as we ask those questions, we also say, here's some solutions that you could go to if your answer is no. So what we found right now, we had 327 total responses, but 179 were fully complete out of those 327. It's a long survey. Originally, you had to click through several pages, but we quickly changed that so you can see all the questions at one time. But it does take about 15 minutes, and it takes some thought. But currently, of those 179 that completed, 15% of respondents said a one-bedroom would work, 39% needed 2 bedrooms, 32% needed 3 bedrooms, and 13% needed 4 bedrooms, and 1% need 5+ bedrooms. So 5 or more.
Wow.
In terms of bathrooms, 25.5% need a 1 bathroom, 63% needed 2 bathrooms, and 12.5% said they needed 3+ bathrooms. In terms of household composition, 40% have domestic pets. 27% have children under the age of 18, and 19% have kapuna living with them. So, when we're talking about kids and pets, do we need yards? Do we, what do we need in that arena? Many people rang in that said that so we had over 75% of people, at this new number, the new number is 72% of those who responded. So we've just talked about some of these demographics with, children, we've talked about pets. 72% prefer a private yard or garden space. So not an open space, but a private yard or garden space. So that, we're talking about how people live. So that shows us what kinds of housing we need to look and target for when nearly 3/4 of those folks said they're looking for a private yard. Most said they need a full kitchen and, laundry facilities in the whether it's an apartment, a condo, a home. They need in-unit laundry facilities. They need large storage. And again, 72% wanted a private yard or garden. 72% also said they need 2 or more dedicated parking stalls or a private 2-car garage. So that helps us as we start looking at what works for the majority of our families. 82% preferred single-family home over other options such as townhouses, condos, apartments, or ADUs or ohanas. So huge percentage asking for private single-family homes. Preferred areas, I was a little surprised, but preferred areas for you and your district, Yuki, preferred areas were upcountry Maui was the most desired area if cost was not a factor, while Wailuku and Kahului was most convenient for work and school. So we asked people, if you could live anywhere and cost was not a factor, where would you like to live? And of course, there are many other areas, but by far, upcountry Maui was the most desired. And then we said, if you needed to live near work or school, where would you like to live? And Wailuku or Kahului was the highest in that area. And then when it came to affordability, the top 2 tiers are 20% can afford $2,500 to $3,000 per month. And that would, when we asked that would be inclusive of taxes, insurance, and fees. So as we know, insurance fees are rising. 16% said they could afford $2,000 to $2,500. However, when we then asked them we gave them an AMI chart, which shows how many people are in your family and what is your combined income level for the family. So that's an AMI chart that was put in the survey where they could correlate the data. 22% fall within the 60 to 80% AMI. And then 19% are at 50% AMI or below. So you can see, we're just kind of gauging like where are people falling in the AMI. So you're seeing, but we weren't seeing a lot of percentage. So it kind of was all across the board, but we weren't seeing a high percentage in that top AMI percentage, which we know, which is why we have a housing crisis, because we have people in lower AMI levels, but to have 50% at 19%, is scary. I'm saying that wrong. Excuse me. 19% at 50% AMI or below. So 19% are at 50% AMI or below. So that's a huge percentage at that AMI level, and shows this huge gap in affordability. And then in terms of home ownership readiness, 50% have not attended a home buyer assistance program but would like to. So we let them know some agencies who could, and 23% are interested in only renting from the survey. So, about a quarter are only interested in renting. So we need to look at those solutions. And the other thing that we asked is on the survey, it was if you would like your information shared. It was an anonymous survey. So if you wanted your information shared with the county, the state, or home builders who might have projects coming up, to be informed so that you could then maybe prepare and get ready. So then you could maybe take that first-time homeowners class, or you could work with a bank or a mortgage broker to find out how much you pre-qualified for, what kind of loan you could afford to do now, and if you weren't in the area that you wanted to be, how to learn, techniques and tools to move up and get ready. So we also put that in the survey as well. So if people wanted that information shared, they had to opt in. And then we said when the survey is completed, we would share that information with government. Otherwise, it is completely anonymous. We're just sharing the stats. And we hope to get more. We're going to continue it a little longer. Ideally, we'd like to have at least 300 people complete the full survey to get more input. And as I said, we have over 300. We have 327 total responses to date, but only 179 completed the survey fully. So we'd like to get more input. And if you are somebody listening in and you're interested in housing, we'd love to have you complete the survey. If you know a family member, friend, if one of your children, your coworker is interested in housing, whether it's renting or buying, please encourage them to ring in on this survey, because we're looking at both locations and types of units that people want to live in and what their needs are for their living spaces. And you can find it really simply at MauiChamber.com. So you just MauiChamber.com. That's the Chamber's website. You can find the housing survey there. And if you happen to know a activity company, a boat operator that was operating out of Lahaina, we also have a boating survey to see the broader impact of the Lahaina boating community, who has been shut down since the wildfires with the loss of the slips at the Lahaina harbor. And we're trying to show the broader impact those businesses had in our economy and better understand that. So you can also find the boating survey there. So you'll see two big surveys up there at MauiChamber.com, but we hope you'll ring in. Yeah.
Oh, very good. I mean, small business economic development, right? The harbor, to me, is the heart of that. And, Front Street is there, the banyan tree is there, but, bring that back as fast as we can. I thought I heard that December was going to be when the harbor was going to be opening. And is that open for visitors, or what do you know what they're doing?
So they're looking to by December, but we've heard recently maybe they're changing the plans a little bit over parking. So there's going to be a big meeting coming up on October 29th. But we have a committee through the Maui Economic Recovery Commission, which I was on. They had subcommittees, and there's a Lahaina Harbor specific committee, and 21 slips were going to be open in Lahaina Harbor by the end of the year in December. Now we hear they're maybe trying to reduce that number to 15, so that has the community greatly concerned. And many businesses who are also looking to reopen, many businesses are reopen, and that those boating activities do bring in visitor traffic. they feel, and we've had people from the county on the committee, and there are great parking options. So the state is questioning some of those parking options, but also the boat operators are looking at how they can work collectively together on the schedule to not overwhelm the harbor system as we look to reopen slowly, as we're looking at limited slips already. But, to bring that traffic back. And some businesses are saying, well, we're going to kind of wait till more traffic comes back. And when the harbor comes back, that will bring more traffic into the area as well. So there's all sorts of ancillary impacts that, when the boat operators aren't operating, not only in the shopping in Lahaina, but businesses across Maui County, certainly Maui Island for sure, as well as others across Lanai and Molokai, who help in many ways. There's catering, there's beverages, there's the fuel that they buy, the maintenance that they do on the boats, the workers that they employ. There's such broader impact for that industry that we really, like you said, need to get the harbor back up and running, and they're working with the state agencies to get that done. And so we're looking to see those slips. We're looking to get those 21 slips that people have been counting on, and by the end of this year, and then continuing to move forward.
Yeah. Good. So you're on that committee. Very good. I know they've been meeting, and I get notices. So good job. And any help, I know that there's the Office of Recovery is involved in that and trying to, get that open. So,
well, and there, I'll say I'm involved, and I'm offering things like let's do an economic survey to show the broader impact. But those boating operators are working hard to bring back their employees. And we're in the employee count, just one business alone had 34 employees and is down to one. And their employees would like to come back. But in the longer we wait to bring these operations back and the employees are unemployed, and housing being such a challenge, we're losing people off our island. And of course, none of us want that. We're losing our local residents. And so, we've got to address it quick. But and we're excited about our upcoming festival coming up with the Native Maui County Festival, November 7th and 8th.
Yes. So we're excited. Please talk about your return on investment report. I'm impressed by your report. I love all the graphics and the way that you presented it. So it's just not only numbers, but it's this colorful, presentation, and it's very artistic, and it is Pam Tumpop. I thought, this is great. So in 11 years, the economic impact is total number of attendees is 101,000 people. Wow.
Yeah.
473 companies in terms of vendors impacted. And this year, you're expecting about 140 vendors. And
that's correct.
I'm excited. I love to do my Christmas shopping there, by the way, Pam. So I'll be there for sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're going to join us. It is going to be a great event. Yeah, every year after the festival, we do a very detailed survey to talk about how many people come. On average, we've had between 8,000 to 10,000 people each year. We hope this year is closer to the 10,000. I know people are excited and gearing up, but as Yuki mentioned, the report that she's looking at was our 11 years. This will be the 12th annual Hawaiian Airlines Native Maui County Festival. Over the years, we maximize the capacity at over 140 vendors. We take out every available space for this. But collectively, of course, we have new companies coming in each year and returning companies. So that's how we get to 473 companies from Maui, Molokai, and Lanai participating in the festival. But the return is phenomenal. As an example, over those 11 years, over $5,375,000 was made in retail sales. We have connected our local companies with, over the 11 years, 3,948 wholesale buyers and distributors who actually, were making connections and purchases. we keep building new wholesale leads every year so these companies can grow and expand. And, the return on investment for the county funds that the county has put in through the county budget is a 410% return on investment for the money.
I saw that. Impressive.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear. Yes. Taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Put to work.
We want people to know that this has a purpose, and the purpose is supporting these amazing local manufacturers, but supporting our community by helping these companies grow and succeed. The amazing local products that they make in our community, the food items, the great gift items, the clothing, the home decor, truly all made with Aloha by local manufacturers. It's a wonderful festival, and so we're so grateful to do it again this year. And we hope you'll shop with us. Come out. Friday is the exclusive shopping day, and tickets are available at the MAC. So if you want to avoid the big crowds, get in early, be the first ones in the gate to get the new products while everything's still in stock, and buy your favorite goodies and treasured holiday and everyday gifts. Come in on Friday, and Saturday's the big festival day, where the tickets are much less, and you can still buy those at the MAC right now. Or on the festival day, people start lining up around 6:15, 6:30, because the first 2,000 in the gate get that free festival tote as well. And you also get to be part of the opening ceremonies as we come in. So we hope everybody will join us.
The big question is, what color are the totes? I love your totes.
What color is it? So it's rotating based on the 5 colors in the festival logo, and this year is purple.
Oh, my color. Good, my color and member combo.
So, yep, you got to be in there early.
Yes.
Yeah, come early. Okay. You're going to love it.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Well, Yuki, it's been great to have you on. We've got another quick guest who's a part of the festival as well, but thank you so much for all of your time today and for sharing about Tasha with us. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you. And I look forward to talking to you again. And I love Ka'oi has a new home, and I wish, that new owners good luck and good business. Thank you very much I love listening to all the different radio shows. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Yuki. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. As Gary gets our guest on, I want to introduce you to, we have Justin Orr of High Spice. They are a locally sourced hot sauce company founded in 2016, which proudly features locally sourced ingredients to highlight all of the amazing flavors Hawaii has blessed us with. And from mild to wild, and I'm not kidding, really wild and hot, they're packed full of flavor, and they have an extensive variety of options to include for everyone in this spicy fun arena. Justin, are you on with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so great to have you on. Tell us a little bit about one of the things I love is your question on what is the most important ingredient in High Spice?
Pardon me. We found over the course of the last 9 years, our number one ingredient is supporting our local farmers, our local economy, our local people, and the support that they give back. Having worked in a number of restaurants over the years, I always felt the most successful ones were the ones who always prioritized supporting local, whether that's your local clientele coming in to purchase from you or the vendors that you purchase from to create your product. And we've just kind of made that always our number one priority. And it's been a successful model so far.
And you have worked with a lot of amazing local farmers. You bring in a lot of produce. Tell us, how you're very different from those mainstream brand, amazing hot sauces. What makes you different and distinguishes High Spice from those others?
Well, there's so many great hot sauce companies. I'm not saying we're the best. I just say that I just try to reiterate that we try to support local. So when you look at the ingredients that are on the label, as many as possible that can be sourced from Hawaii are in there. So if we have an option of buying pineapple from Maui Gold or pineapple from Costa Rica, obviously we're going to pick the best pineapple in the world,
Right.
Same thing with our peppers. All our peppers are grown here in Hawaii. We work with a number of different farmers, small and larger, and everything in between. And we source all of our peppers here. And so, what I can say, knowing a lot of companies like on the mainland that make large-scale hot sauces, is that they're sourcing the cheapest ingredient they could possibly get for the most part. And what we try to do is feature a product that wasn't only made here on Maui, but also grown here. And as we've grown over the years, it's not just Maui anymore. We have friends who have farms on other islands like the Big Island and Oahu. And so as we've grown, we've been able to grow with the amount of people that we can include in this spicy adventure.
I love that. It is a great spicy adventure. And I have my sticker on my water bottle from you that says Spicy Aloha. I love that.
Yeah, we always try to make fun stickers to, have fun with it.
It's awesome. Well, we've got a couple of minutes, but tell us a little bit about your long-term goals and how people can find you, aside from you're going to be in this year's festival as well.
Yeah, we're excited. This is our 9th year in business. This is our 8th year doing this event, the 1 year being COVID that we didn't participate. The fun story is that Made in Maui was actually the very first event, anything, of selling a bottle over a counter to a customer that we ever did. So we kind of jumped in head first. And that first year was crazy, to say the least. We had like every friend and family helping us because we had no idea what we were doing. Fast forward 9 years now, we literally 3 days ago moved our entire production operation to a new location here in Kahului, just in time for the busiest part of the year. And so
that's awesome. Where is the new location? Can people shop there?
No, we're gonna be. It's a purely. Oh, I love that song.
Yes. Do you know your booth number, Justin?
212.
Okay. Thank you so much, Justin, for being on. Justin's going to be in booth 212. You can buy direct from him at the fair at the Made in Maui County Festival on November 7th and 8th. I'm sorry, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you will have a beautiful, wonderful week this week, and join us again next Tuesday as we bring Business Matters back. Blessings and aloha. Ahui ho.